correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
Welcome back to the How We Roll Gaming podcast, everybody. I am Daryl.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Robert.
And I'm not gonna bury the lead. I am insanely jealous of Nick today. Because
can you that for everyone that doesn't know, which particular reason this time are you jealous of me?
This is the only reason that I am jealous of you, Nick. So it's no secret to anyone who's listened to us talking over the past couple of months that, well, we're all big fans of the Alien RPG, and Nick and I backed the Kickstarter for the new Alien RPG Evolved Edition, and it started shipping, and the past couple of weeks since they started
Which
shipping,
we have mentioned in a previous episode.
Yeah. Nick and I have been furiously refreshing our email multiple times a day, every day. We still haven't received shipping notifications. But Nick, you got something better than a shipping notification today. What did you get?
Apparently, the engineers have gifted me with from Free League the Evolved Edition Kickstarter that I see today, with no shipping notification, no any form of information. I just found a package and it was there.
Smuggling for the win.
Nick sent me a picture of the stack of books and mentioned that he hadn't gotten a shipping notification either. And so I got up from my desk and I went and I opened the door and looked on my porch and I was like, there's no box.
No, you got to be careful of them porch pirates.
And a couple of times a day, even though no new doorbell cam notification went off, I was like,
and I know yours is a bit more precise than mine. Mine goes off for the wind.
It's like, let
it really does.
Let me go check. Let me go see. No,
like that is a
package.
joke. It does go off with the wind.
Yes,
so but I know that Daryl's yours whenever. Since I know that I hear it whenever your son picks up something whenever we're gaming and he's at home. It's like you would have known.
Yeah.
So I do not think you would have a problem with the ports pirates in that case.
Yeah, I just.
But it means
I want mine
again. And I've checked online on the Reddit. It's like it seems to be inconsistent around the country right now.
Yeah, I want mine. I want mine.
So Nick can savor this one time. Daryl is jealous of him.
Yes. Mark this day on your calendar, Nick. Mark this day on your calendar. So unrelated to games, but our friendly friends at the Movie Defenders podcast announced today, and I've told them that Nick and I are on standby if they want some help with this. Their next episode in about a week and a half, they're doing it. The crazy bastards, they're doing it. They're covering the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh, I shall pray for them.
No, rejoice. It is a joyous life day that they will have.
Now
it's gonna be something.
Coincidentally enough, they announced that this morning, and last night I finally got a chance to watch A Disturbance in the Force. The documentary about the making of the holiday special.
It's so good. But I imagine that I still think that they had to admit there had to have been just a room full of drugs somewhere.
Well, I mean, somebody said that at one point. They're like,
Yeah.
there must have been a lot of cocaine. I
Oh, no mere amount of cocaine. There must have been something esoteric and
I
going
mean,
on.
I mean,
there.
let's be real. Carrie Fisher took all the cocaine.
Yeah, she took all that. The rest of the team had to work out some other stuff.
And Mark just had a bunch of painkillers. So
Yeah.
Well, no, they actually talk about his makeup in the documentary, and they're like, it's not caked on. It's just between the TV lighting and every copy and picture that you can see now is a copy of a copy of a copy with a degradation of image.
yes,
Oh yeah, and
because
TV
George
light
Lucas hunted this thing down.
is like
There
it
was
was great skirts.
Seth Green told a story in the documentary that while they were working on the sadly canceled Star Wars Detours animated series,
Which looked amazing.
and they were at
Or what little
Skywalker
bit was
Ranch. They
leaked.
had access to the screening room at Skywalker Ranch, and all of the crew of Star Wars Detours sat down in the theater at Skywalker Ranch and started watching the holiday special. And it was a contest to see who could last the longest. And he said people were tapping out like 5-10 minutes in.
They were like, it's not worth it. I'm out.
Whoa. Cowards.
But we are the crazy people who watch it almost every Christmas.
With
Yes, and
commercials.
The commercials are the best part.
I told the movie defenders that we watch it
It's
every
proof that
year.
it's proof that the special the audience for the special was no one in particular. No one on Earth.
That's one of the things that I said to Scott. I was like, I told them that if Donald needs backup, that you and I are on standby. We're willing to join them. And Scott, I said, our gaming group watches it every year during the holidays. And Scott said, yeah, but you guys watch it as a gag, which is what we're going to do. And I was like, he's like, you don't watch it because it's good. And I was like, well, a little from column A, a little from column B. And since the copy that we watch has commercials, throw in a little column C, which is it's a time capsule of November 1978 and clear indication that they had no idea who they were targeting this show towards.
The answer was nobody.
It was made for. It's the true example of when people say like, "Oh, you delineate anything so it becomes no one's target audience." No, this was no one's target audience. They just threw Star Wars at the network, and the networks were like, "Commercial space is like, okay."
Well, and the documentary "A Disturbance in the Force" covers how the entire reason it exists is in the late 70s there was no internet. There wasn't really a home video boom. You saw a movie in the theater and that was it. If you were lucky, it might get shown on TV after a while, and if you were really lucky, it would be re-released to theaters.
And that's one of the gags in Spaceballs, which was making fun of that and how at that time it was like, yeah, we're already preparing it for home video release.
And so the reason that it exists is they wanted to keep Star Wars in the pop culture zeitgeist between Star Wars and Empire.
And the holiday season.
And the holiday season to sell toys.
And it shows their success that despite this, they still got popular acclaim.
Despite this being the thing between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, it was able to survive. Like any other franchise that wasn't this huge and pop culturally important would have shot itself in the foot with this special.
Yes. Instead, George Lucas went out with a shotgun to hunt down this special.
He's like, we will never play this again.
And although
I think
there is
the only thing he disliked more was Jackson.
Near the end of the documentary, there is a quote from him in the late 2000s, late 20 teens, but I think like 2009 is when it was.
Okay, so that's well before the buyout.
Yeah,
the negotiating started in 2008, based on most people's thoughts.
Where someone asked him, will it ever be released? And he said, yeah, I think it might come out on video or something. So
what I'm hearing is that the new theory is that he was like, eventually the investors and staff at Lucasfilm will want to release this for money. But if I sell to Disney and tell them to never release it, I could win.
I don't know.
It's a theory.
I don't know. You've got a theory that it's a demon, a dancing demon. No, something isn't right there.
No, don't some argue that the holiday special is why afterwards Lucas is like, no, I'm taking the reins, but never letting anyone else have control over
that is the big theory. It's like that's why it's like, because again, like Empire's, he always planned for like to be an anthology. He even had like wanted like Coppola and like Kubrick to do a Star Wars, but it's like after that and after they've wrapped up Empire, he's like, no, I'm in charge now.
So Scott, Donald, and or Brev, if you're listening, you can tell that we are excited to hear this episode.
If not here, if part of it, like either way, we want to hear their opinion on this thing.
And your Patreons over here would love to have behind the scenes footage as well to just see your reactions.
Trust me, a reaction vid from either one.
I'll ask Donald to do one of his movie nights this weekend and run it through their Discord.
How to lose your subscribers.
Or gain new, more unhinged ones.
Or they can make a game out of it. It can be, okay, who can make the best subtitle for this?
I'd recommend a drinking game, but I'm pretty sure none of them would survive.
No, it's like if you drank for the Stephen King movie and did all the cliches, you'd die.
I am in their Discord right now typing that question to Donald.
So, audience, guess, will he be shot down or will he ponder it?
So, Donald, are you doing a movie night for the Star Wars holiday special? Please say yes.
We will shall await reply later.
Yes. But let's not steal any more of their Star Wars holiday special thunder.
But before we continue up, Robert, do you want to add in anything that's been interesting with you?
Before, in the realm of entertainment, not really, except I did buy the release of the new Dispatch game that was made by both the old Telltale creators as well as in conjunction with Critical Role. And it's really good. I love it. It looks really good. They knew their audience. They knew what they wanted to do, and it works.
The animation style looks beautiful, and I've heard that it's like true to. I really love the Telltale like story games that they did, like Walking Dead.
They knew how to make characters and relationships that you care about the minute that you see them,
and choices that matter when you make them.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but one scene got me pretty teary-eyed. So
again, trust me, like I remember playing season 1 of their Walking Dead game. I was like, I remember moments where like I had to like just pause and like step away. It's like it was intense.
Or those moments where you're like, oh, I messed up. I chose the wrong choice. Dang it.
I am going to have to replay this whole game again just to get to this point, and might do the same choices just so I can see, like, can I make it better than?
That reminds me, this was a long time ago, but when Until Dawn released and a YouTuber decided to
Oh,
play it, he
yeah,
made one wrong move, killed a character, and he was like, no, 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 no. I'm starting the entire game over. We're getting back to this point, and I'm not letting that happen. And he
like,
actually did it.
because I'll admit like as much as I appreciated that like idea, but it's also like I can understand the frustration to be like miss a quick time event and like he's dead. Nope, I put too much investment into this guy. I'm willing to go back. I'll make every decision I made before, or better ones, but I'm getting there and making sure he gets.
Yes, and there are, I know, the people who make Telltale games or Telltale-esque games, they are always sometimes chastised for the whole "your choices matter." They'll remember this, but there are some choices in the game that actually do have lasting impact.
And that's just good storytelling. Like if a character's choice doesn't matter, then why are you giving me it?
Exactly. Yeah,
I'd rather I'd rather it be like, even if it's like like just two polarizing extremes, I'd rather it be that instead of being like, oh, I'm going to go with a sarcastic option. It's like, well, you could have been less sarcastic. You could have been more sarcastic instead of be like, oh, I'd rather like have some nuance because that means the characters are well written.
But yeah, so if you haven't gotten it yet, November 12th, they'll release the last 2 episodes, so the full game will be out. So if anyone here or listening just wants to buy it, I'd
Which
recommend it.
which is a quick full release. It's like probably get like a platinum release probably next year if you guys want to wait out for that.
Probably. But before we dive into our own topic this time around, we did give some shout outs to movie defenders, but we also want to point you to one of the other great shows on the D20 Radio Network.
On We Fix Games, Laura and Jerica take a look at games focusing on, just as we were discussing, on the storytelling aspect, but examining not only what makes them great, but what might make them better too, which is similar to what we do on Casual Nerdy.
But by the time this episode drops, they'll have just participated in the GoatCon fundraiser to benefit Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. Now, they already reached their personal goal several days out from the event, which starts tomorrow as we're recording this, but will be the weekend before the episode drops, unfortunately. But they've already got some good work being done. So check out We Fix Games wherever you get your podcasts and Extra Life at extra-life.org. And links will also be in the show notes. And we gave shout outs to the movie defenders, late breaking news to my question to Donald. First, he reacted with the big bug eyes emoji and then
That could be multiple things.
Responded with a Family Guy gif saying, perhaps.
Ooh.
The perhaps on its own, but a Family Guy gif. Family Guy has done multiple Star Wars parodies in the past. That's that. I might be reading in too much.
No, it's better than Stewie screaming in fear. So,
But let's now turn our attention to our actual topic. In the past, we have done episodes on GMing a game, being a new GM in the game, picking a system, and starting a new campaign and bringing players in. But one thing that we haven't done is we haven't talked about creating characters.
yes,
Nick
because
and I sat down and
what
we
story is complete without characters?
exactly. Now, Nick and I sat down and we statted out an insanely overpowered NPC once, but we haven't talked about making a player character. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
And for the purpose of this, we're going to be going system agnostic because there are a lot of role playing games out there.
Right. And we're just going to talk about different methods that people go about choosing to make their characters. We're not going to be going into detail on here is how to make a D&D character. Here is how to make a Star Wars character. We can focus on more specific games in some episodes down the line,
But in
and give
general,
more
like
of a
helping,
tutorial.
and this could also be helping, though not necessarily the focus, can also be helping GMs also think about NPCs, because what are NPCs but also characters?
Yes, and no
Exactly.
story is complete without them. So why not just drop a little bit of nuggets here and there about what maybe to think about, what maybe to go for?
Exactly.
Now, personally, I have seen mostly two. There's probably more than two. In fact, I know there's more than two, but I've seen two main ways that people will come up with a character. The first is full functionality. They are looking at the stats. Like, how do I want to make a character that fits these stats and
Quote
this
unquote
role?
role players.
Yes,
ROLL players.
Yeah.
yes, basically, and we have some of our players are like this. People are like, I have this character and he's good at one thing. That one thing he's really good at.
Now I wish I had a clip of you know like Loki from Thor Ragnarok going,
You had one job.
Just the one.
those characters have one job.
But
And
they,
they're really good
in
at
terms
that
of
one job.
character, and that's mechanical. But they then, since that's the mechanical starter, they then build the character backwards from that. It's like,
Yes, so you want someone really good with mechanics or engineering? Okay. So how do I tailor my character, who they are, what their career is, depending on what system you're trying to use, and how do I go
background, and
backwards to create him really he or she really good at engineering?
it's like, it sounds counterintuitive to a way, but it does work. It's like, I make a character that's really good at say blowing stuff up. It's like, well, then it's like, I make those stats first and then be like, okay, I'm gonna make a whole bunch of backstory to explain why they're good at blowing stuff up. And maybe they're kind of clumsy, but they're good at mechanics, and they blew up stuff in their past.
Yes, and also I created a character like I want someone who can talk their way out really well. They're just the talker, the mouthpiece. In D&D terms, the bard of the group.
The
And
face.
the face, yes.
Which is the general term.
Yes. And so I was like, okay, well, I know I want this, this, and this. And I use that to create him. But then that can also help you turn around and be like, okay, he's really good at talking, but there are thousands of ways you can talk, kind of like role play you're talking. So how do I want him to talk as well? Do I want him more sarcastic, more sneaky, more suave? There's multitudes of choices to still equal he's good at talking.
Is it
Yeah,
a
like people
is it a fast talker, or is it somebody who is like a smooth person who worms their way into convincing you to do something?
are they
Or
working
using
through
a
the
talker that provokes you, that tries to slip you up by making you act on your emotions, like the trash talker.
are you trying to ingratiate yourself with high society, or are you looking for friends in low places?
And this is all things you got to think about when you create your character. Sure, you can have a
It's
stat, be a role player with two L's, but then you also got to feel like, okay, I
What's the
created
setting?
this stat. So what's the setting? How do I want him to interact with said setting?
What's the campaign? Who else is in the team? Is there going to be someone that's going to be like, oh, we're meeting with the mayor or a dignitary, and they're going to be the one to do that? But it's like, I need to find out some dirt on someone.
Yes, and you also have to think of the campaign setting, what was said at session 0 and be accommodating to both your other players and the GM as well. Like if they're running a serious high risk campaign, don't think it's a good idea for you to introduce your character Poop McDinglefart. So
Well,
Oh,
I'd say
damn,
that depends.
there goes my backup cyberpunk character.
I'd go with it just so I would see what it came out as.
I'm
No,
not sure where I want to know what the cyberware would be for that one.
I will cling to Daz until you inevitably kill her off.
I look if I don't kill Nick first, that's saying something. Not just because he has the weakest armor, but also just because it's Nick.
No, I think
Also,
I think Daz has the weakest armor.
He does. My armor is I have the car. And without
Yeah,
them,
your
they're
armor
all
is the car,
stranded.
but you have armor with basically an armor rating of 4. I think
Yeah.
Daz has 11, right?
I don't remember. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, but
But
still.
my armor is the fact it's like if I go down, they have to pay for their rides.
And that
We'll
can also be
just
something in
steal your
character
car.
creation. That can also be something in character creation, like what is going to be your role in the group. We've talked about faces in our Cyberpunk campaign. Nick is basically the driver because he only has the only one car in the group right now.
It is my car, but it's also loaned out to the nomads. But it's like I have a car that's at access. Everyone else needs to
Yeah,
doesn't
because
have a
that makes
vehicle.
you invaluable because in Cyberpunk cars are expensive.
And mine's tricked out and large enough to carry everyone.
A lot of times when we talk about general principles in games, we circle back around to session 0, and a lot of that can come up in session 0 where if all of the players are making their characters at the same time, then you're able to kind of balance out who's filling what role, what function within the group.
And it's
Uh,
I'm speaking as someone that has had players that have experienced it bring their own player characters, at least concepts, but sometimes full characters. Honestly, it is just in my personal opinion, building there, or at least having concept, fine, but finalizing builds at session 0 is always gets the best results. It's everyone's okay, you're doing that. It's like, should I put this skill into that, or would that be better if you take that skill?
Yes, in fact, one of our characters who we've had on the show, Lawrence, I love when he asks the questions of, okay, what don't we have on the group yet? Because he's basically saying, okay, what role can I fill that hasn't been already filled?
And that's a
yeah, and
great way of approaching things, especially with new players. New players, that's usually would be if you're going into a group that kind of knows the system or knows the system more than you, there's no shame in saying well, where would I fit in best? Again,
and
that's sort
I've
of putting into what I would call a role, as in just capital ROLE type players. Like you're playing a part of a team, but it's you're making your character around that.
and I've walked into some of your session 0s, Nick, with multiple ideas for characters, like especially I think the last time that you tried to start Uprising, when there were what, 9 people at session 0. It settled down to like 5 people at session 1, and then dwindled down to like 4 of us
Well,
eventually.
that was because of the great virus.
Well, after the Great Virus, it was down to like 3 of us,
Yeah,
3 or 4,
Hmm.
something like that. But uh, I walked in, like, you were gracious enough that because of things that went on in the dreaded Group 3, you
mm-hmm.
told you told Xander and I that, hey, if you want to redo your Group 3 characters for
I
this.
granted a little bit extra XP and a little bit extra credits for like stuff that you guys would have had, but I basically nothing that would be like game breaking
Right.
for the rest of the team. But just like
And,
that was like maybe like, all right, so you have a little bit extra, but I'm going to restrict you on other stuff.
and and I considered doing that, but that's when Stephanie wanted to play the Ewok slicer. So, and since my character in group 3 had been a slicer, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go with my smuggler character from the first time we tried to do Uprising. So, uh, but I
And
came.
one day we'll do Uprising again, and that would be like my last attempt ever. Fourth will be my
Well,
last try.
I came in with, you know, yes, the character that I had in mind was a smuggler, just because of the general attitude that I had for him and the inspiration that I had for him. But I came in saying, okay, he can be either a pilot or a charmer or a scoundrel. There are multiple ways that I can go with him, since there's going to be 8 other people potentially in this campaign, and some of them were not just brand new to Uprising, but brand new to our group.
Yeah,
I
this is
was
our
like,
group.
okay,
At least two of them were just like had either seen just the
completely new.
prequels or just seen like one or two of the original trilogy.
And so
This
I
was this
was,
was in the big period when we were getting like a lot of random. This was like late sequel trilogy coming out, so like a lot of randos were coming in.
and
It was wasn't
so,
a bad thing, not a bad thing. Never discouraging that, but it's like it you never knew what you were getting.
and so I walked in saying, okay, here's my general idea, but let me give deference to the new players, to the brand new players to the group, so that I'm not saying, well, no, you can't do that because I'm already going to do that. I wanted to make the space open and welcome for the people who had less experience with the game and our group specifically to play with
Come
what
up with
they
their.
wanted to play with.
I'm gonna be running these games until I'm 90.
They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
But yes, it's a good point to say, like, you're coming in with an idea to create a character, but it may be a good idea to come in with a few ideas just in case one of them doesn't mesh well, or you might have to accommodate someone else who's doing that. So you're not just like, okay, then I have no character idea. Instead, it's like, okay, maybe the face is gone. Well, maybe I'll be the tank, or I'll be the fighter, or I'll be the
And then
support,
again, there
if
are
we use the
some
general
systems
terms.
like we do go back to Star Wars a lot, but there quite literally you could, since there's enough like race, background, and concepts throughout the galaxy far, far away, you could have a whole team of one career, multiple specializations within there.
Yeah, well,
Well,
Nick, we're
it's like,
still waiting for the all Jawa campaign.
That
yes,
wasn't my idea. That was not my idea.
Doesn't matter. We're
I was a
waiting.
player in that one.
but a perfect example there is that in the Legacy of the Force campaign that the two of you co-run, Betsy and I both have the same career and specialization for our characters that we both developed independently of one another. And I think she even missed session 0, didn't she?
She did.
I think she did, yeah.
And so I had already come in with that career and specialization. And then she came in all excited about doing it. We're like, you know what? With the particular setup of this campaign, there's nothing that precludes having 2 people with this specialization in the group. And
Especially
the
when they
way the
can
way we
approach it
navigate the
differently.
yeah, the way we navigate the specialization trees, the way we add additional specializations, and the way we just plain play the characters are going to make them completely different. Which I'm gonna I'm gonna bag on D&D here for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Since D&D is very, very crunchy and very, very linear
Yeah,
in your
It,
character
it
progression,
does
I
it
can
does
agree with
limit
that.
you.
it limits, if you have, you know, two of the same character type in the group, there's going to inevitably be stepping on toes.
Yeah, like
And
if you
there's
have
going
two
to be
rogues, it's gonna be well.
there's going to be a lot of sameness because they're going to, for the most part, have the same things available to them at the same time. Whereas
Again, that's
like
yeah.
with a system like Star Wars or Delta Green or Alien, the way that it's not a linear progression and you're like, okay, I'm going to spend points and do this over here. I'm going to do this
But
over
like
here. And it's not going to follow the same path. And a lot of that's going to be influenced by how you play the character's personality.
Yeah, and I'll say, granted to D&D, they do have subclasses, and those who are more learned in D&D can do kind of go a subclass route to make it more unique. But if you're starting out,
also
yeah, D&D
perks.
is pretty linear and kind of
But that's
mainstream in
kind
that
of what
way, make it
but that kind
accessible.
of what makes it like so accessible. It's like yeah, you are one of them is literally called the fighter.
But
It's
you
one
can
of the
take a
classes in D
subclass in Psionic Knight to make him able to use psionics as well, which is what I did.
and really really overpowered and makes combat very difficult for what was sorry.
Hey, that's only because we can bend the rules because the rules aren't specific.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to draw a comparison here for a sadly departed video game MMO, which was Star Wars Galaxies. When Star Wars Galaxies began, all total, there were something like 19 different career trees.
I
There
thought
were
it was
like six start
18.
something, I don't remember. It's something along those lines,
Basically under 20.
but
Yeah,
there were like
it's under 20.
six, but there were like six that you could start with. And
And then
depending on
you
how far down
go
each tree
down.
you went, you could then take a more advanced tree by going down this branch, and then you could take this tree by going down this branch, and it added more uniqueness and flavor to the characters. And it was very wide. It sounds like, when you say, oh, there's quote unquote only 18, it sounds like there was limited selection, but there wasn't, because you didn't have to do a complete tree for any given career,
And because
for any given class.
it was again, this is like a classic early 2000s era sort of MMO. So it's like there wasn't like a quote unquote end game. There was like some people just hung out and just did stuff for fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just made
but
clubs and ran those.
but they revised the game and they cut it down to 9 careers, and you couldn't do any cross specking, and your advancement was completely linear.
Basically, creating a end game like where you end up.
They made it more mainstream.
And it
It's
was
easier to understand, but also like killed
kind
the
of
More the
community.
boring.
Yeah, for the more storyteller type people, that does limit your options.
I see which
Yeah,
one like
it
people liked.
was.
It's like you were living your life in a Star Wars universe, doing your own thing.
And we can talk about the wisdom of this or not. We're not really talking video games. This is just a little side tangent comparison. But originally, with those 18 careers, there was no way to choose to be a Jedi from the beginning. Every character upon creation had a random series of careers that you had to master all of those careers, and then it would unlock a force sensitive character slot for your account.
If you find the right things and do the right stuff as
And
well.
And then they made it a little easier to become a Jedi. And then when they did this whole revamp and whittled it down to the 9 linear
You can just
careers,
start.
yeah, you could start as a Jedi.
And that's
And
like
once they did
again,
that,
like this reminds me back to the early days of the for the current edition, current generation of Star Wars role playing games. I remember this guy on the Reddit would constantly complain about how like, well, I want to do a Jedi character. It's like, well, we have options for that,
Yeah, you got
and of
options for
course,
that.
he's like, but no, you can't be a true Jedi because you can't have like no all the trees for like you can't have like a basic array of force powers. Like, well, yeah, this is the setting
Yeah, that
of
kind of
the dark
breaks
times.
what the setting is in.
and that was one of the really cool things in the early days of Galaxies, because I want to say it took a little over a year, maybe a year and a half, before someone finally unlocked a Jedi. There was so much excitement among the player community because suddenly one day somebody saw this PC across the screen running around with a lightsaber,
And again,
and people
I
were like,
kind of
"God!"
I've run several Force of Destiny games, but and usually but also if I run a different game in Star Wars, I'd be like, I might approach someone and be like, "Are you interested in investing in the points to becoming force sensitive?" It's going to take a lot of points going forward, a lot of training, a lot of stuff. It's like, uh, best example would be our Whisper base with Kyle.
Yep,
He became an
because
MVP of the team, but also he had his own threats and own problems that did come back on you guys several times.
in the form of walking armor.
And then once they revised,
But when he made up, when he came around and it's like, oh, we need him to do the stuff. He's like, yeah, he's getting you guys out of that situation.
and then
But he took a lot of
once
it
they
took a lot of work for him to get there.
once they streamlined everything down to the 9 careers and Jedi was a starting one, hey man, you couldn't round a corner in any of the players or in any of the cities in the game without seeing 20 different lightsabers being waved around.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's because everyone has to be a Jedi. But it's like that's again like
But
not to continue to glaze Ed Studios and the current Star Wars games, where it's like if you want to be slinging lightsabers and doing Force stuff, there's a segment for that. If otherwise,
but
you got to talk with GM, and they're going to tell you that it's gonna take a while, but it's gonna be
and
worth it in the end.
and all of that was a digression to just say that it can come down to having multiple PCs of the same career, the same template, the same archetype, whatever your game system calls them, that still are not carbon copies of one another.
exactly. So we're saying, yeah, we're saying mechanically it can be different, but the big thing that will differentiate the characters is how you as the players play them. That's
And
90% of it.
that's where usually like how I approach character creation. I usually don't go in mechanically. I go in like, what type of character do I want to play? Because again, the fun of RPGs has always been like, oh wow, I'm just a regular smegular person. What if I wasn't? Could I be a cunning trickster, a wizened wizard, a brave soldier who would stand up for his allies? or someone who's a bit more duplicitous and conniving. Character
Or
first.
I can or can I
It's
be
how
a
I usually
brilliant
fix it.
mathematician that can save the world?
Well, that's obviously fix it. That would never happen. Mathematicians would destroy the world.
Hey, say what you want. They're the closest ones. They get their name close to magician. So
So they're also the closest to becoming evil wizards.
yes, possibly, but we're just saying yes. There is multiple ways to think of it. When we did, well, still doing. We got to end it. When we did our highest limited campaign, I didn't think on what I wanted to do as far as skill wise. I thought of what I wanted to be. I was like, okay, I want to be an Ewok. I want to be a tiny little teddy bear. It's like, okay, well, this campaign is all about criminals, and we're doing it kind of like in a heist scenario. So it's like, what do I want him to be? Well, warrior. Nah, I don't want to be a warrior. I think it's funny. I'm going to make him the driver. Yes, this very small bear is going to be the one driving everything.
I think that's sort of the fun, also, like subverting the stereotypes, because there are in all fiction character stereotypes. Ewoks are stereotyped as cannibal killers.
Yes, which I kind of lean into at times. My big thing was okay, he's from a primitive planet with primitive stuff. He knows how to drive stuff, but he's also strangely the most innocent character in the heist group. Almost just because he just wants to drive stuff. That's his entire goal. He just takes jobs that allow him to do that. And
Like
everyone's
if
like,
I had
oh, he's basically the child of the group, even though we joke that he's probably older than everyone in the room.
if I have to boil him down to, his goal is, well, as you always say, faster.
Yes, he has to go faster.
And most of the time, I come in with I have like some kind of character concept or hook in my head. Um, like for the special missions Star Wars campaign,
Yes.
um, I I had I had been just because it kept showing up on cable after I finally watched it for the first time. I'd been watching Atomic Blonde a lot, and I was like,
Oh, you're right. You did tell me that, but that was the vibe I was always getting.
and I was like,
Great
okay,
movie, really, really good movie.
I'm gonna steal this character template from Atomic Blonde. This is a genuine triple agent who is legitimately a member of Imperial intelligence, just like Charlize Theron's character was legitimately a member of MI6. And then a spoiler alert upcoming for anyone who has not seen Atomic Blonde.
But even so, still watch it. It's really good.
Watch it, but spoiler alert for the next couple of minutes. It turned by the end of the movie, you find out that she is also the Russian double agent who they're all trying to find throughout the movie. They're trying to track down this Russian double agent's identity. So my character had also been an intelligence enforcer for the Hutt cartels. And then at the very end of the movie, you find out that her true loyalties are she's a CIA agent who was planted in both British and Russian intelligence agencies.
And even with
So,
that twist revealed, the movie itself is that good of a ride. Like I always say that
yes.
a
And
twist,
and
a good
so
twist doesn't need to be just the twist of the movie. It just be like, oh, now that makes more sense. Really good.
his loyalties were with the rebellion, but he had also worked for the Hutt cartels, and was a legitimate member of Imperial intelligence, and just like her character in Atomic Blonde, had absolute zero problem with up close wet work and was very pragmatic about every decision that he made.
Which was very clear. Like, you did an amazing job with that character. And speaking of that type of character, I know it's too. Maybe another time we can bring on your son, but we can at least discuss a little bit about that since you were in Whisper Base with me, Robert.
Yes. The campaign that turned into everyone had a secret because it just happened.
But yes, we had in Whisper Base, we had a character that also played a similar spy-like character, and that influenced a major part of it. And they approached me before the campaign started. I thought that was interesting. And then just naturally over time, characters in the campaign started developing their own secrets.
Yeah,
And that
because it
sort of
was he
became
had
a
a
running
secret.
thing.
Yeah, he got a secret. Then I came to you like, okay, can my character have this secret? And then like, yes. Got to the point where we joked about, okay, if you're joining this campaign, your character needs to have a secret because
And one
that's just what's
character
going on here.
that did join in eventually was like, no, my secret is I don't have a secret. I'm going to uncover the secrets.
Yeah, I'm the one with the yarn board in my room connecting everything, trying to find the secrets.
That's you, friend of the show, Betsy.
Yes. Yes, we're just saying creating a character is both. You got to think of mechanics, at least, of the system, but also how you want to play them. And
But
then the
there is
third
one
big topic.
other factor of like, and this is just coming from a GM for working a long time, and I'm pretty sure you would have the same issue, Daryl. When someone comes with you, like, with their amateur novel character.
Yes.
Basically, their 30-page backstory.
Their 30-page backstory that doesn't give me anywhere to drive this character to because they've reached the conclusion of their story.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like
it's the level 1 adventurer saying, yeah, I'm doing this thing, but I've been on this great adventure already with this great group of people. I slain dragons, killed lich kings, dominated demons, and all the time you're just saying, you're level 1. A rat could kill you.
Or someone comes to you, it's like, my father was killed by this man, but I stabbed him through the back after a long and very, very well purple prose even use the correct apostrophes in the right places. It's his backstory.
DMs are just like,
so where do I go with you?
Now, there is a way, depending on the game system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lead with that huge
asterisk
caveat. Yeah, that huge asterisk there.
Thunderbolts level ding asterisk.
There is a way to make that work in some systems because I have been in a campaign where it was a D&D campaign where there were 4 of us who were players, and 2 of the players and the DM had been playing together for years. The 2 players had been playing variations of these same 2 characters for years. They had history together. They had long backstory. They had established bits and all of this. But given the nature of D&D, this new campaign started with them being pulled to this new plane that this new campaign took part on. And by coming to this new plane, that reset all of their abilities to level 1. So their history still existed. Everything still happened to them on another plane.
Yes, so you are correct. There are ways to make this work, but probably the first ever campaign introducing everybody probably don't want to have that 30-page backstory.
Right.
Yeah. And again, like the what I was calling out and is like there are so many people that are like there are a lot of people. Like, I'm an aspiring author. I've made this mistake before as well. Wasn't quite 30, but it was somewhere around like 15. But it's like, if you make a story about your character that has an ending, then what purpose do they have for adventuring? Especially if you make it personal or like part of their characters. Like, if you say like, "Oh, my father was mysteriously murdered, but I found him and I struck him down," it's like, "Oh, well then, what am I as the GM to use from that?"
So let's give a pop culture example of that, and I have one perfect in mind here. If you come to if you're coming to the table with your character, the swordsman Inigo Montoya, his father was slaughtered by the six-fingered man.
Mm-hmm.
He has not yet met and dispatched Count Rugen.
Or you don't even have to name the six-fingered man. It's like, he just could know him as.
You killed my
Yeah.
father. Prepare to die.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, he's looking for the man who slaughtered his father.
Again, like, that's enough to excuse any character.
Just as it did in the movie, it can set up interactions with when he first meets another member of the party. You don't by chance happen to have six fingers on your right hand. And no.
That's a peculiarity. That's a character building moment. It's like, they'll be like, why would you ask such a question? I do not. And why are you so hostile to the concept?
Because my father was killed by a six-fingered man.
Yeah.
It all builds on each other.
But
which again, it's good character building.
But if that same player comes in with the entire story of the Princess Bride having already happened, where is there for
Purpose.
you as the GM to take Inigo? Why is Inigo
part of the party
adventuring with this group?
Because I can't explain. Like, I had someone come in with like, it wasn't a quote unquote 30-page backstory, but it was like 2 pages. And it was like, so you came from a village that was attacked by orcs. Generic, okay. And you slaughtered all the orcs. And
what now?
Do you just hate orcs? Are you going to go around slaughtering other orcs now, or?
That's literally what I asked. Is like, so are you an orc killer? Because like, I was like, well, if there's someone else in the party that's like half orc or something, that could be interesting. It was like, no, I'm just a sellsword. It's like,
are you going to slaughter all of the orcs that you see, and not just the men, but the women and the children?
I did ask
because you hate them.
It's like, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, so do you hate orcs? So I hate that tribe, but I slaughtered them all, the whole tribe.
Slaughtered them all.
This is where as a GM would be like, okay, maybe you found out the orcs were led there by some other third party that you don't know yet,
or a child survived and it's like, he will grow to be the haunt you forever. It's like, it's like that. That's just like the thing that made me like so upset. He said like, that's just the background flavor. It's like,
and another pop culture reference that we can use of turning that idea on its head is the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Mm-hmm.
We're introduced to Drax, who wants revenge on Ronan for killing his family. And at the end of the movie, you have Gamora saying, well, Ronan's gone, your family is avenged and now you can rest, right? Well, no, I learned that Ronan was working for Thanos, so that's the guy that I have to kill. Gave Drax continued motivation.
Yeah, because if it would have been there, it'd be like, cool, see you guys.
Because no, this guy was like, literally like, no, I just wanted a cool backstory that I took down in Orkville. It's like you know that I don't assume that he imagined that there were orc women and children, which
It's
would
like,
make him
orcs
into
are more than just big burly guys, right?
like they kind of have a society. There's like there's a village, that, a camp. That's like
But
he was like they're like big and they're bad and they killed my family.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
I
not
avenged
Warhammer
them.
orcs where it's just they're basically green fungus that only know how to kill.
And he was like,
my dude,
and that's
you
why I
have seen
look
Attack of
cool.
the Clones, right?
Yeah. So I was even starting to suggest, so like maybe one of them survived. It's like, no, I killed them all. And I was like, I could tell that he could not tell
Okay.
that I was picking up. I was like, maybe there was like maybe a widowed orc
Maybe
or
there's more
a
to this
child.
story.
I just need something like cool to like would make me an adventurer. It's like, meanwhile, back in my head, I'm like, you're the villain of a different story.
Yes. So we've gone to this extreme, but it could be the other extreme in character creation where you're saying, yeah, my character's Steven and he's a sellsword.
You could have started with that.
And no, it's like,
guess,
and that's it. And as GM, you're like, and
but guess what? I can work with that. If a newbie player says like I'm here for the coin, it's like that's not bad. It's like, why do you need the coin? Do you have a past? Are you leaving something behind? Are you buying coins so that you can make a family, to raise up, to build a church, to support your family, to pay off a debt? There's way more to do than to be like, yeah, I slaughtered a whole village, but I'm also here for coin.
With a spoon because it's dull and hurts more.
And it's like, I'm here to also just make some coin because, well, I spent so much time slaughtering an entire village of orcs and also killed my family. I don't care about that either anymore. I avenged that. That trauma's done. That trauma's complete. Again, that guy's whole perspective is like, sir, like, I even asked him, like, how many family members did you have? It's like, the average amount.
The average amount. What the heck's the average amount?
So
here's confused by that. It was a farming village. It was like, so like that could, depending on the
like
era,
7.
that could be like 8, and most of those could have died of like natural causes.
So here's how I would handle that as a GM. If it's a player who doesn't have an idea for the character's backstory, I'm like, okay, you have no memory. And we are going to start peeling back the layers of the onion as the campaign goes along. And unless you can come to me with ideas that you get as the campaign goes along, but we can discuss that. And I will get the players buy-in on this. I would get their buy-in on this.
Obviously.
But I get to introduce elements of your backstory. If you can't think of anything, that's a great. Not everyone
way of selling that. That's a great way of selling it, especially to how they describe it. It's like, yeah, I remember exactly. He described it as like, well, I tracked down the orc camp and I went into a bloody rage because he was barbarian, obviously. And after that, I destroyed all of them. It's like, no, he got hit on the head, and it's like, okay, you remember what you remembered. He can still keep his vague, incredibly vague backstory.
Now, I kind of did that once, not to the full lost memory extent, but years ago with the old West End Star Wars system, I was made team lead of our call center's overnight crew. And calls were virtually non-existent. And so a friend of mine who knew the game was one of my phone techs, and several other guys heard us talking about it and were interested in playing, so we started a small campaign on the overnight crew. One of them had never played an RPG before, but he knew he wanted to be a template of a kid. But
Betsy?
he had no idea of coming up. He couldn't come up with a name, and he had no way of coming up with a backstory. And I was like, you have you have until our first game Thursday night to come up with a name and a backstory, or I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to come in Thursday night with a name and backstory for you. And if you don't have one, that's what you're using. And he said, okay. And he didn't come up with one. And I didn't do anything like ridiculous or anything like that. But, he, being his first time, he had no real good concept of how to do it. So I came in, with your typical, orphaned kid, live. It was started off set on the wheel,
Oh,
and
cool.
so and so
Not a bad place.
so he's your standard orphaned kid living in a rough and tumble environment and yada yada yada, and got mixed up with the other crew of characters that the other players made up. And
Cool.
the one of the players who was playing basically the smuggler captain of their crew basically takes the kid under his wing, because the player was also taking the player under his wing because he was an experienced player alongside this new player.
Nice.
And I was
that-
like, this is beautiful.
Yes, and what you said and what Nick said about character arcs also brings kind of what we could say our final point is that character creation doesn't end at session 0. Because
And the antithesis is what I
going...
said about like making like those big character, like 30-page character sheets.
Yeah, it doesn't end at session 0 because that character is going to grow and change throughout the story as well. And for my example,
not just through like actual like mechanical skills, etc. That's how characters work. But also meeting new people, meeting new NPCs, and meeting the PCs.
And just evolving how they act and interact with the world. Because, for example, in Daryl's Walking Dead campaign, I'm playing Hank, whose character archetype is the homemaker. So I had him first generated.
Everyone loves Hank. Everyone loves Hank.
Yeah. And I just had him generated as a middle-aged man, about 40-ish, who's just trying to keep the group together. But through the first few sessions, Betsy, who plays the kid character, we both decided, was like, are you just my niece or something? And say, yeah. So we decided, okay, I'm her uncle, she's my niece, we're related by blood. And then through that, we made out a story of like, okay, where parents, they're dead. Okay, what happened to them? One of them killed the other in a bid to just opt out of this world. Hank got angry at that guy who killed his sister, and in a rage, accidentally killed him right before an outbreak broke up their original camp down in Utah. So he went to get JJ, and they were traveling with his group, and now he's looking out for her in a kind of a Lee Clementine style, only I'm actually related to her by blood, which gives him his own drive. Yeah. Yes.
For now.
Which gives him his own drive and also dictates how he acts, because as we've talked in the previous episode, in fear and trying to protect her, but also kind of being a little selfish, Hank killed one of his own group members. One, because he thought he might be a carrier, and two, just, this guy's messed up too much. I can't take the risk anymore.
And now?
JJ, being the little sneak, learned everything. We had a truthful heart-to-heart, and now Hank is not trying to keep any more secrets from anybody. And he also apparently has a very traumatized sized little girl that he picked up at a Costco, who is now calling him Papa Hank after Nick's character, the mother, kind of made a 1 on her charisma roll with her daughter.
The
And
tension. We're lucky there is not a Jerry Springer alive anymore right now. Because he would have one heck of an episode.
Yeah, so Nick's character is either going to. We're going to either get together or she's going to try and kill me or both.
yep, I have so much fun
There's
coming
a
up with
lot
the
to work with that,
situations
but
to put
also
all
the
of you
fact
in.
that my luck is terrible. So I might be the doom of all of us.
Your luck isn't horrible. You just didn't choose the right words to speak, and Daryl made a roll for the kid.
No, I mean just in general, my luck is because this is now my third character.
Hey, all you did in that you weren't in any danger of dying that session. You just had very bad diarrhea.
This is true.
Yes, and then also in The Walking Dead, it's also fun because not just our own characters, but we as characters, just because we know our group very well, is that we also just voice the NPCs at times. Like we create our own NPCs that just make Daryl world easier.
Honestly, that is a lot of fun, and that's honestly something I think that we could also do maybe one of our off episodes, like just how like the players can help make.
Yeah, that's a good episode. Players helping the GM.
It's freaking up, like not to sound like oh, it's so much work to be a GM, because there's so many people that are like, oh, it's a woe unto me to be the GM. It's like it's a labor of love, and if your players enjoy it, they can get in on the creation as well.
Yes, because as Daryl showed a video a few sessions ago, kind of as a meme, there are many types of GMs. The I've laid out every single avenue I think this campaign session can go type of GM, or I forgot we had a session today. I made something up in the car and have random tables. Let's do this.
Yes.
I remember seeing. I think I even tagged him and talked about you when I saw that. He was like, I know you like your random tables.
Yeah, and I was just like, I am some of these GMs, not all of them, but some of them.
And again,
one time or another, I have been every single one.
And again, November's a bit tight, but we will have soon a Fallout session. And I know how just don't get too feral, because I might have a new book which might have more random tables.
I will give you guys both thanks and kind of a pat on the back and brag on you a little bit. I was in the Tabletop Empire Discord earlier today, and there was just a general discussion that had been going on about hey, what do you do to prep for a session? And I had said after my general answer, let's see, my general answer was it depends on partly on the system I'm running that day. Generally speaking, though, set the group pizza order for delivery around 2:00. Game starts at 1. Make sure I have any relevant books materials with me. We play at someone else's house. Are my notes on my laptop? Stop at Quick Trip and fill my Stanley with Coke Zero. And then I said, when I'm running Walking Dead, my prep is as close to 0 as possible. I come up with a scenario.
Oh wait, you bring your map. You bring your map.
Well, and that falls under materials, relevant materials. But I come up with a scenario, but everything that happens is a direct result of player/character decisions. Which is how there is now the looming danger of a new strain of living walker that could rear its ugly head, bored of a PC bluffing to the mob that he could find a cure. And there is someone who was like, oh, I love player driven games, this and this, don't really feel that way without a little effort. And I was just like, hey, I give full credit to my players. because I started off much more detailed in what I wanted to have happen in a session, but the system and the setting kind of lend themselves to coming up with the scenario, dropping you all in it, and seeing what happens. And I love it. It makes it sound like I let all of you guys do all of the heavy lifting. I have, fortunately I know you all well enough that I know the kinds of zigs and zags that you're most likely to take, and I can be prepped. Okay, I can have this happen over here.
It's hard to judge, like, in terms of, like, long term. Like, we have some staples in the group, but it's like, I'd say the one that caught us into that situation and that inspiration was one of our relatively newer individuals, in terms of the fact that you've been around since, like, the olden days of the group when we had
Jeez.
when we were just Star Wars and had group numbers.
Yep.
So it's like the one that you're talking about was like, again, I don't want to mention them because they haven't made an appearance on here yet, so don't know if they're okay with being named by name. But it's like, they came up with that concept and sort of fed that into you. It's like, but that was a really good idea.
Oh yeah, that was me just totally riffing.
Yes, and it's how it's become. Walking Dead is still my favorite campaign right now.
Easily, yeah. It's oh really? Now I'm feeling the cards. Now I'm jealous of Daryl, and not just because of his cool curtain in the background. Double jealous.
Well, Nick, pay no attention to any sounds you might hear of breaking glass or anything in your house tonight. I promise you it's just squirrels, so you should be too frightened to investigate.
Obviously, yeah.
You should be too frightened to investigate. It's not anyone breaking in to get your alien books.
I mean, why would the squirrels want my alien books? They can't play role-playing games.
Exactly.
They can't play
because
role-playing games.
Because the squirrel's eyes look a little different.
Exactly, Nick. It's just squirrels, so don't investigate. Deal with it in the morning.
Luckily, I have couches that can recline very high, higher than the squirrels can get to.
Maybe the squirrels will take the alien books and just leave in your bedroom a certain painting of a little girl looking at you.
Oh
no! Oh, wait a minute. Are we bullying Nick?
I think we're bullying Nick.
Oh, then you know what that means.
Oh, yeah.
Let me check my heart monitor. It's like, yep, firmly bullied.
So that means it's time for me to say, check out our website at howwerollgaming.com. There you'll find information about our current campaigns, podcast archives, and links to our merch store and all of our social media. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, and on Threads, and on Blue Sky, and on Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it this week.
Yes, you can also directly support the show through Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/howwerollgaming, and you'll see our different membership tiers starting at just $2 a month, with special recognition on our Discord server and higher tiers giving you on-air credit and discounts on our merch store.
Finally, if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, topics you want us to cover, or even submit your own RPG glory stories, shoot us an email at podcast@howwerollgaming.com.
And I will certainly not be heading to Nick's house in the dead of night to steal his alien books tonight after he goes to sleep.
Daryl, you think I sleep?
Yes,
well,
because
seeing as how I've heard one time on Casual Nerdity. No, it wasn't Casual Nerdity. Basically,
Yeah, it was
We
casual
have
nerdity.
yeah, that you actually fell asleep while recording.
And how many times have you said that you're too tired to even head upstairs to your room to go to sleep? We're bullying
Bollocks.
you again. You're
Double
hoisted
bullying.
by your own petard. And why Patrick
Mm-hmm.
Stewart is part of this conversation, I don't know. Uh,
I'm not sure. Why is he hoisting me? That sounds rather. He's quite old to do that.
he's retiring after Doomsday, he's announced.
Good on him.
So,
Solid
so I,
career.
I guess it. So I guess it's safe to say that Professor X dies in Avengers Doomsday again.
Again.
Who
This will
knows?
be the third time that a Patrick Stewart Professor X has died.
And I've not received a nickel since.
But we hope that you will join us again next time. Uh, Next time, we will be running the first of what we hope will be an annual tradition of our RPG gift ideas episode. So we'll be coming up with ideas to get that gamer in your life, or if you're the gamer in your life, to ask your loved ones to get you for the holidays.
Indeed.
And
But you know what? And before you ask, if you can't figure it out, just get a gift card.
well, that's boring.
Well,
Okay,
actually,
that's
doesn't
why our special. That's why our special is for. We don't want them to. I'm
yeah.
preempting those people that don't
Actually,
have an idea.
does Madness Comics even have a gift card?
Yes, in fact, when I was there Halloween weekend for their sale, they had a sign on their register that they now have actual gift cards instead of, I guess previously they had gift certificates.
Yeah, it was a gift certificate, like an
So
actual like.
they
I
They have a
mean, it's
certificate.
yeah.
but according to the sign on their register, they now have actual gift cards. So
Good on them.
Mm-hmm.
we will be
But
compiling that list in the next couple of weeks. What were you about to say, Nick?
I'm just saying that like we were looking forward to make sure that all of your holidays are filled with gaming goodness.
Yes, indeed. And until that episode, thank you once again for listening. I'm Daryl.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Robert.
And this is how we roll.